Glory to Jesus Christ. The Roman centurion comes to Jesus. Lord, my serving boy is lying at home, paralyzed, suffering dreadfully. And Jesus says, I will come and heal him. There's so much we can derive, so much wisdom and understanding of God, even from the opening lines of this gospel. Jesus welcomes one of the pagans, one of the enemy occupying forces, as it were. He doesn't send him away. He welcomes him and says, I will come and heal him. I'm told by people who know more Greek than I do that the word for serving boy really could mean that this boy is the centurion's own child. Now, apparently, in the Roman army, you weren't allowed to marry until your military service was finished. And often that military service was 25 years. So, if indeed this little boy is the centurion's son, one asked to wonder where he came from. Obviously from some kind of unmarried relationship. But nonetheless, Jesus doesn't rebuke him for either his paganism, the fact that he is a Roman, or the fact that he may indeed have an illegitimate son. He says, I will come and heal him. Now, in the Gospel of Luke, this same miracle is recounted, but in Luke's retelling of this story, Jesus sends the centurion sends messengers to Jesus saying, please come, and this he deserves that you would do this for him, for he loves our nation and even built the synagogue for us. So we have two slightly different accounts. But the point is the same. This centurion is a good man. He might be a pagan. He might be one of the Roman occupiers. But he's a good man. We can see his goodness and his kindness in several different ways. First of all, he treats this boy, even if he's not his son, he still treats this boy with great kindness. Going to the Jewish mystic, to the Jewish rabbi for help, as a high official of the Roman army, that takes some goodness, that takes some kindness. He's kind to the Jews in whose country he finds himself. He built their synagogue, tells St. Luke. They say he loves our nation. He's obviously a good man. And he's even good to Jesus because he says, Lord, when Jesus says, I will come, he says, you don't have to come. The Roman centurion understands that according to Jewish ritual law, Jesus would become unclean if he were to enter into a Gentile home. And so he says, I am not worthy. You don't have to come. Just say the word. So, and I think, although this certainly demonstrates what we might call today cultural respect or cultural competence, I think it's more than that. I think the centurion, like all of us, knows very well that none of us are worthy to ask Jesus for anything. He comes out of his need, not out of his worthiness. And what he says to him in Greek, it says he kept on asking him, Lord. And it's exactly the word Kyrie. When we say Kyrie eleison, Lord have mercy, it's a call. It's, oh Lord, Kyrie, Lord, oh Lord, have mercy. It's a recognition of Jesus' divinity, Jesus' authority, Jesus' kingship. Lord, in the Jewish culture, that is the name for God. Adonai. It's not even spelled out fully whenever it's written in Hebrew. It's abbreviated because it's considered so holy. This pagan gets somehow that Jesus is Lord. Not just a teacher, but he addresses him as God. Oh God, Kyrie, oh Lord. He's essentially going up to Jesus and saying, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison, Kyrie eleison. Lord, help me. Lord, have mercy on me. And he knows he is not worthy. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. And he who humbles himself will be exalted. And this humble centurion, he probably had every reason to be proud of his military rank and decoration and achievements. But he comes knowing that he is not worthy, and also recognizing the authority that Jesus has. He says to him, Lord, you don't even need to come. How does he know that Jesus doesn't need to come? When we read about healing of the sick, isn't there almost always some kind of laying on of hands? Isn't that what always happened? Or the prophet Elijah breathed over the dead person? There's always some contact. And yet somehow this centurion knows that it's not even necessary. Lord, you don't have to come. Just say the word. He says, I am someone in authority myself, and I have men under my authority. I say to one, come here, and he comes. I say to another, go, and he goes. And somehow this centurion has the faith to recognize that when Jesus Christ says to someone or something, go, it goes. When Jesus Christ says to illness, go, it goes. And that is exactly what happens. The boy is healed immediately. What incredible faith. And Jesus himself is astonished, amazed, says the gospel, at his faith. I have not found this faith in no one in Israel. Be it done to you as you have believed and trusted. Jesus' word is all it takes to heal the paralyzed boy. Because Jesus is the same God who created with the sound of his voice. Let there be light, and there was light. Or Lazarus, come forth out of the tomb, and up the dead man gets. And Jesus still creates and heals through the power of his word. This is my body. This is the chalice of my blood. His word still creates miracles. Sometimes, even in our day, in spite of our lack of faith, sometimes those miracles include healing. It still happens. St. Paul tells us in the letter to the Hebrews that faith is the assurance of what we hope for and the certainty of what we do not see. Another translation says, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. And the centurion has this gift of faith that recognizes the divinity and the authority of Jesus. The one who said, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. And somehow this pagan Roman knows it. But do we know it? Do we know, do we have faith that all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to Jesus? Well, that's the claim of our faith. That's the faith of the church. That's even the faith of this good pagan centurion whose life probably needed some moral adjustment. But nonetheless, he had faith and trust and humility. And all of the rest of us, sinners or saints, are welcomed by Christ if we come with the same qualities, with faith and humility. Jesus says, many will come to the table. Many will come from the east and the west to dine with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Many will come. Many who are last will be first, and many who are first last. You can hear the Jewish leaders murmuring, Jesus is a friend with the Romans. Look at him, he's a friend of the Romans. And yet this Roman has faith that he's not even seen in anyone in Israel. And he tells them and tells us that we're all going to be surprised when many people we would never expect come to take their seats at the banquet in the kingdom of heaven. So let all of us, with whatever we need to call on the Lord, to say, Kyrie eleison, Lord have mercy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy to ask. But we know that Jesus has all authority, and that when he says come, it comes. When he says go, it goes. So let us cry out to him in trust and in humility, knowing that he is Lord, and that he still says, yes, I will come, and yes, I will heal him. Glory to Jesus Christ. Amen.